Okay, so I have put the release notes link in the chat, and you can see it here. So always a good idea to come and check this out if you've got some time, but you may not want to watch the multiple hour-long videos on the two new UI things. So before the patron services UI will go live for everyone in November. Um, the title search experience is still an opt-in. So I'll be in the sandbox so that you guys can see what that all looks like. And we're going to start with the title search because I think it really is kind of the most straightforward. And but in case you don't know how to do the opt-in on those new UIs, you go up to your user details and you can opt in individually, and it's feature rollout preferences, and you'll get these two new features that you can turn on. So if you just want to test one, as I said, the new Circ Desk UI will be fully happening. Well, some of the patron management is happening in November, but the full one is May 2025. So they're rolling it out in phases. So that's how you turn it on. So the new title search. So we have all titles, physical titles, electronic titles, and digital titles. This new search experience is for all four of those. What's neat is with the all titles, it shows the split screen and how many of what kind of representations are available for each thing. And so like, love that. This right here is called the table view. If you go up here to the right, you can go to this is the table view, because it looks like a table. So you can kind of like view things really quickly. Hide that. You can edit for yourself what is visible under user customization. So if you don't need MMSID or digital availability, you can do that. I'm going to go back to the record view. Split screen allows you to go into a record really quickly. And then from here, we can skim through all of the different sections of the record very easily, as well as go into editing of those things or searching for like regular stuff. So like we have 9 items here, and we can very quickly see how many are in place, how many are checked out. If you're like, oh, well, this wasn't the math book I wanted, but I thought it was by the same person, you can very quickly do a new search on that author, on the subjects. I'm trying to, where's one with an order? There we go. So if you use acquisitions, you can get the pop-out slide-out screen for order lines and very quickly go into edit, fix whatever it is you need, like, okay, history, PO lines, and you're not leaving the title search. So we can easily go back and back here, we can look again at ordered items. We can look at the bib, and then we're like, okay, that's good. And we're right back here at the list.
Can you edit the link from right there?
So like an ebook link?
Yeah.
Yeah, so electronic portfolios, you can even choose like, oh man, we don't want, like, this one's been crappy. Boop, turn it off. Turn it back on. It's live. You can then go in here and edit portfolio. It stays in the slide out pane. It doesn't take you all the way to another screen. Takes you right into the portfolio editor that we're familiar with. And then you can save or cancel. I know, isn't it cool? Yeah, so, and or you can like edit you can actually push edit record. It goes into the MDE. We'll come back out. Now, here's the neat thing. Okay, so you're like, oh, I really need to create a set. And we're just going to pretend that you want to create a math bookshelf or something. So we're going to limit it to books that are physical, and we're going to apply. And now we can select all, and right here we can add all these items to an existing itemized set. We can just create an itemized set just from here. Math books, all titles, create, and it's done. You don't have to go back out to admin, manage sets, run another search. You can then like very quickly remove these, and you're like, okay, well, I actually wanted to add a few electronic books. So I just want to add this one and this one and this one, and I'm just going to add them to that itemized set that I just made. And I select that, and they're added. Boom. Like you can then also, like, you're like, oh, you know what? I want none of these electronic books to be available. So I'm going to go run a job. You can now run a job on selected titles right from this search. It makes the set for you to run the job on. So you're like, I'm gonna suppress the bib records from Discovery. Suppress, true. Next, run now, submit, confirm. Those three are now suppressed. You can see. So I want to unsuppress them. Run the job. Okay, there. Actually, let me cancel so we can actually see. So now if we look at this, it's still active, but it is suppressed. Where is that? Suppress. What? Why didn't it work? Well, but you could do one by one. I don't know why that job didn't work, but maybe if I tried a different job. Unsuppress. Yeah, so very cool workflow ability to go oh, we should so did more than one page. I think you can increase the number of results per page. So, you know, like depending on how many, let's try something too. So we select these three. Let's go to the next page, see if they stay selected. They stay selected. So we have six items selected on 2 different pages, which was like not a thing.
Where do you see that, Carly? That it retained the first 3?
Up
Oh,
here.
there. Yep, got it. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, so this is, really nice workflow for anyone who is dealing with physical or electronic titles. This functionality will be coming to the holdings search in the near future. Right now, it is just on the titles search. It also works with physical titles. So yeah, so that's super neat. Lots to play with there. And if you watch this all title search webinar, it's Yoel Kortrick, yeah, our Alma guy. And and he goes through a lot of this stuff as well. So but if you didn't have time, at least now you know. The other one that and we can come back, or I can answer like if we want to try a few things with this now. I got very excited and clearly went through that quite quickly. So yeah, does anyone want to like, are you wondering if it does something, or want to see how it does something?
Can I ask a quick question, Carly?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like taking notes. You turned this on and like the three dots up at the top.
No, so you go
Oh,
to your user icon, user details, and feature rollout preferences.
and that's just for you as the person logged in. It's not going to change
Yes,
for everybody.
it's not
Okay.
going to change it for everybody.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
So yeah, it's really great. Um, so yeah, so it's so fantastic. Because you can still use advanced search with physical titles. So if you're looking for like trying to think of something that yeah, well, this is the sandbox. So but so you can still use the advanced search to create detailed results, and then rather than having to create and filter a set and save the set and then go back into run a job, you can just run a job directly from the title search now. So yeah, I don't know. One of the things they mentioned was, say, none of these will all become default. Yes. The physical title one it'll be a while. The new circulation ones are coming out in phases. I can't remember if it says on this page when. Maybe it says. Yeah, so full activation on the new title search won't be until May 2025. So you've got, 6 months to get used to it, test it out, turn it on and off. The new CircDesk UI is rolling out in phases, and as of the November release, the managed patron services part of that will be default. The full CircDesk UI will not be default until May 2025. So one of the things that Yoel shared was like, so he did a search and so book physical apply, and he was like, so say you want to add subject to these, like a few of them or something, like you can run any of the jobs for bib jobs on selected titles that you could for any normal set of titles. And all of these permissions are still linked to role permissions. So if someone doesn't have the permissions to do these kinds of bib record changes, they're not going to be able to do it now. But yeah, so we've got suppress, sync, all the things. But yeah, he talked about like adding additional subjects, being able to change subject headings if needed. This one I think is just really cool as a tool if you're looking to make collections, being able to do a really nice subject search. But yeah, so this one's, I think, and you can see your active filters up here and very easily remove one or all. You can add additional filters. I've not checked this community. Oh, titles in the community. But we don't. Here we go. Yeah, so yeah, searching community zone for titles. You can also do it that way. Since these are not our bib records, you won't see the options up here, but you can still make a set from them. You can view the records, you can view associated portfolios. So very cool new title search. Yeah, Jennifer.
Sorry, I think I missed the first part. Are you in a sandbox? The reason I ask is when I go to
Yes.
my profile, I don't see these options. Okay, I just want to make sure. Thank you. And we'll see these options soon, I guess.
Yes, you should be able to see them with the November release when they become available for opt-in.
Perfect. That's the part I missed. Thank you.
Yeah, and let's see, what is November release date? Does it say? No, because that's not the calendar. But yeah, it's usually what, like sometime between the 5th and the 9th. Oh, thanks, George. It's going to be the 3rd. So on the 3rd, you should be able to go in and do the feature rollout preferences. So that's title search. Now the manage patron services. If you go into, and I've already turned it on. So, nope. Fulfillment, manage patron services. I did a little like checking out to myself so that you could. So I added a note, address not found, need to verify, great. So I have 2 loans. I set this one to be due 20 minutes ago. So that you can see like right here, we've got the overdue notice. I set the preferences to see the email for the user in the user card. and the user group. We have all the user notes and then the system notes. So you can see has an overdue item. From right here, we can renew. Loan was renewed. We can go to what my returns are. It was overdue. What I really like is we can go up here to these 3 dots and send activity report. And it failed because it's not set up to send emails because it's the sandbox. You can send a return receipt, a loan receipt, etc. You can check someone's requests, their fines and fees. When you're in loans, so say you want to see like, oh, they have this checked out, but how many others do we have? You get this split screen, just like we saw in the title search, so that you can see the book information. You can even click on it and get the slide out. And you don't have to leave the patron management area. If you click on the user details, it will pop out again in a sliding panel, so you can edit anything you need to edit without completely leaving the patron services page. And you're right back here and, ready to scan and check something out. You can also hit done to end the session. And a feature that's not new, but with this like new interface, it's always good to kind of check is you can set the timeout on a session. So if someone walks away from this screen because, whatever, you can go into configuration, fulfillment, and then under general, other settings. And then if you do, what is it? I think it's patron something. Patron services timeout in minutes. So you can set that as needed for privacy, since the access to that the information is so much easier with this cool what. Oh, the notes thing. So say I go to, I'm like, okay, well, we don't need that note anymore. She verified her address. I'm going to go to quick user management. It pulls it up, and now I just have those. That's not what I needed. I wanted full user management. So I'll go click here. And now I can go into notes and I can just delete that one. It's just checking out the viewable note and save. And now you see right here, user notes are already updated. If you're like, oh, well, I still don't need that viewable note, you get a slide out, viewable note, delete, save, boop, slides back in. And you can do all of it without leaving the loans. You can change due dates, return an item. Now we see our 2 renews. That was overdue. Check the item loan history, when it was checked out, when it was returned. If you change the order of these boxes in a user record, it is only for that user record. However, if you go to the settings, the customize, institution customization will be for everyone. So if you like, we don't need item information as a box. We'll hit apply, and let's say we don't want work order as a main action. Apply. And for the record stuff, I don't care who the author is. And I don't really care who owns it, or the call number or the description. And apply. And I also don't need it here, but I do want the institution here. And so that will change it for everybody. You only have access to that if you are a fulfillment admin. Here you can see we've taken out item information. So this is all inherited by that institution customization, but I want it back for this user because they come in and they ask who the author is of the book that they borrow. And now it's back. So, yeah, any questions about this new patron services management page?
Have you
And then-
noticed any like, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Abby.
Okay, have you noticed any, like, I'm definitely gonna share this with CERC staff and probably have to walk them through it. Any other resources? Because this is a significant change to managed patron services.
Yeah, so I would recommend this video. It kind of introduces it, gives you a full, like, high level, but the new patron services page, CERC Desk, this one, Yoel goes through everything and shows it in more detail. I was able to watch it at like 1.75 speed, playback speed, and still get most of it because frankly the UI is just so nice, that kind of like once you see where your normal things are. So let me go ahead and share this. So this is the patron services video, and then the title search video. So those are the good, more in-depth ones. If you would like access to a sandbox, I can certainly get you that as well, so people can play with it now. Not many people have sandbox access currently. We're working on that. Yes, so the full fulfillment UI will be released in phases. So if you go to it's the Alma roadmap, rather than release notes, it will talk about what parts of the fulfillment and resource sharing UI are coming out at what time. And the managed patron services is November. You now have the option to also turn on renewal notifications. So this is a nice one for anyone who is using automatic renewals. You can send a notification to users that that renewal has happened so that they know that they're getting a new due date. You can now set a role expiry from the CERC Desk UI. So if you need to add, CERC privileges to a student use ID, like student employee, Turn on notification letter, so there's quite a bit in this release. I felt like the new UIs were pretty huge. There's some new alerts for digital requests. I don't think anybody's really doing those. Again, this is Rapid ILL, Iliad. If you're using Booking, this I always thought was a thing, so I was very confused about it, that the institution level opening hours are inherited by all libraries. I thought that was how it was working. Another document delivery thing,
That's
another
something to
ILL.
note though, right, Carly? Like if the library is now gonna override the institution when it comes to opening hours, that
The library can't override the institution. The library can may create its own standard, but it will disconnect from the institution level opening hours. So if you are using library opening hours, because, like you've got Whidbey Island and campus, and you set them at the institution level, you probably just want to check that library level hasn't been overridden, but we could certainly test around that a little bit. ILL. They've added the ability to search by language code in bib records, and it's like, okay, cool. And the AI metadata assistant. So I thought that this was not going to be out yet. But I guess I did see it in the sandbox. So if we go into the MDE and let's see. Why am I not seeing it then? In preview mode. Oh yeah, I watched a video on how to do this. So you won't be able to use it yet. That's right. But you can play around with it. Always with some heading linking updates, some improvements on Elsevier linking, more information about electronic holding job reports. This is an interesting one. So on the changing electronic portfolio or collection information job, you will now be able to delete or replace a URL suffix. You cannot run the prefix and suffix job at the same time, so you'll have to run them separately. This is one of those ones where I'm like, I wish you would give us an example, because I don't know exactly why you would be bulk editing static URL suffixes. I guess if something was going from like, .com/videos to .com/films. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that HTTP to HTTPS would be URL prefix. And that's been a thing before. Setting parser parameters for database collections. So database, not aggregator, or selective collections. But setting up a parser parameter for databases is now a thing. Digital resource management, again, we're not really using this. Additional license types for if you're adding that information into acquisitions. They've added some analytics. Yeah, so this is November is a big release. August was not a small release either. So if like if you were out for the summer, probably need to take a look at the August ones as well. Isaac says usually suffix on portfolios is a document ID. Sometimes vendors change the format. Yeah, but I would think then you wouldn't want to do it in bulk. Like, why would you be changing a bunch of document IDs to the same thing? Unless you're deleting them all. Yeah, I'm sure someone will come up with a whole thing. So there are additional analytics user role categories now, so you can limit the design analytics role to certain areas. Seems a little silly since analytics, I mean, like, I guess you could keep someone from messing up existing analytics if you didn't trust them. But it's not like analytics messes up the system. So you've got, yeah. If someone shares a analytics object with you, you can now receive a notification of that. So if you go into your own notification preferences, you can select how you would like to receive that. This SpringShare integration is for Lib Insights. Again, nobody, I think, is using that. Our analytics object list will also have some of the new UI. So if we go to analytics object list, let's see if there are any loaded in this sandbox. They'll now have this table setting, which makes it a lot easier to select multiple and to sort things and see. Yeah, that is so much nicer. You can see the subject areas right away. You can see what folder it's in right away. You can then change what's included. Yeah, so, and then lots of little buggy things, but the no this August one, nope, I want the full feature release. There we go. Yeah, there was a couple of things that I noted. Option to bulk remove transit for reshelving status. If you do have multiple branches or, having to move things around, that was one. You're now able to specify non-working days within expiry period, as opposed to just relying on the library calendar. But again, this is in resource sharing, not like regular circ policy. The contributor page was added back in August. I have not had a chance to really dig into this, but they talked about it quite a lot in the roadmap webinar series. think. Where is the full? Here we go. So here's the full feature release like info videos. If you do want to go back and look at any of those. So the physical items template, that was a summer one. Manage patron services. The Consortia Central Configuration Dashboard does not apply to us because we do not have a network zone. Here's the full video for all title search. I'll add this link into chat. Linked open data in Primo VE has been the most recent one. So once again, my not being a cataloging person sometimes limits my full understanding of like how useful is this. So yeah, if you'd like to have a conversation about it, I can certainly host that so that all you cataloging people can chat together. But I will stay out of it. So yeah, so some big changes coming with November. I think it's opt-in for now. Let me grab the link for the sandbox access, because I am trying to kind of keep a record of who asked for what and how you've got it set up. So here's the okay, a sandbox account request. There's the form app for that. If you've already filled it out, feel free to fill it out again. I haven't gotten a ton of responses. So don't worry about filling out account requests for like a general training account. We have like 25 general training accounts that I can give you access to so that, like if you're just onboarding a new CERC person, you can use that. These sandbox account requests in this form are specifically for like people who have to do administrative type testing of things. So we don't have to keep a bunch of extra accounts for, oh, I just need to train someone in CERC or train someone in resource sharing.
So if we want to get those general training accounts, how do we get those?
Just let me know what you need it for. So if you're like, I need a CERC one, and I'll just send it to you because I have the whole big list.
Okay, so just email you or?
Yeah, just
Okay.
email me. Wade used to post them, and Ex Libris got a little titchy about that because then anybody could log in. And that way I kind of keep an eye on like, okay, that training account's been used 20 times. I can't imagine that would happen, but like maybe it's time we like have a refresh of this sandbox because it's gotten a bunch of training use and it might be kind of screwy.
Okay. So if we email you, do we need to indicate that we would want like a training account and they have to have the acquisitions tester access profiles?
Yeah, that would be really helpful because that way
Okay.
I can give you the one that fits that instead of, yeah.
Okay.
So just trying to follow the like Ex Libris's like best practices kind of, because they technically were only allowed to have X number of named accounts to access those sandboxes in addition to the profiles that are already set up. And the way that it was kind of happening before was Wade was like, yeah, set up a profile wherever, make whatever, accounts you want, da 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 da. Well, I mean, that's fine. They're not actually keeping track. But when we go and do a refresh, I need to know which named accounts need to be carried over so that our admins can keep accessing it. And so if you've created 5 extra named accounts just for training, we don't necessarily need to bring those over. Isaac has a chat I will read. I do not understand. Local authority control activated at Shoreline because I have done some local authorities. Would love to have easier ways to do some of that work. Is that kind of with this linked open data stuff? Cloud apps. I've never looked at this. I saw a mention Alma Refine. So maybe we can have a session on this. And our cool catalogers can teach us things. So, yeah, okay, so I've shared the Sandbox account request form, the Alma release notes, the webinar series, the 2 main videos that kind of introduce these 2 new UIs. And there's kind of a lot here. I think there's some like functions and workflows that we certainly didn't go over today. So if you discover something or have questions about something, please put it on our listserv or email me and we can revisit these no problem at a future open call. Tomorrow and Thursday, I will be participating in the Library Leadership Council meetings here in Spokane. So of course I will have access to email, but responses may be slow. And I can't think of anything else really coming up soon. Besides that, our next open call is next Tuesday. And I will put out an announcement on Monday about what that will be, because I think putting it out the day before got a bunch of people to remember to log in and, join us today. So I'll just keep doing that. Yeah, anything
What's the
else?
session next week on Tuesday? What's it about?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm guessing like something may come up at LLC. I've also had a fair number of support requests the last couple weeks, and I feel like a few of those are like live in a family of this could be a trend and we could discuss it. I just kind of need to revisit that in my brain and figure it out.
Oh, well, this is great, Kylie. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited to have had so many folks here today. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.